What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Sunday, March 3rd, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 22:46 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from around the world. So, we currently have U.S. nuclear forces still on high alert here in the United States. What you're looking at here is a U.S. nuclear war command and control plane doing loops over Offutt Air Force Base in Omaha, Nebraska. This is home of U.S. Strategic Command, the most important combatant command in the entire U.S. military. And earlier today, we had a presidential doomsday plane go from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, to Offutt Air Force Base, and then from Offutt Air Force Base, it went to the DC area. And at the same time, we had a nuclear war command and control plane in the air doing loops over southern Ohio. So, very, very interesting. And then earlier today, we had two more nuclear war command and control planes in the air. So, a total of three in the air today, which is actually not a lot for a weekday. But for a Sunday, to have three in the air plus a doomsday plane is pretty unusual. Okay, so U.S. nuclear forces are still on high alert. And over the last 2 weeks, we've seen unprecedented activity of these U.S. nuclear war command and control planes and doomsday planes. We had several doomsday planes take off from Offutt Air Force Base and turn off their transponders. We had as many as 7 nuclear war command and control planes in the air about a week and a half ago. So something is brewing. What it is, I have no idea. We currently have a U.S. RQ-4 Global Hawk patrolling the Black Sea and keeping an eye on Crimea. Now, last night, Ukraine launched dozens of drones at Crimea, and they even hit the city of Feodosia, which is right near the Crimean Bridge. And what's interesting is that attack on Crimea came just a day after the leaked conversations amongst German Air Force officials about how they could destroy the Crimean Bridge with Taurus missiles. Now, I had a chance to watch the entire leaked conversation. It's about 38 minutes long. I'll probably post it to the channel sometime this week. But what's interesting is they were even considering giving Ukraine assistance directly from German soil. So basically, they would help the Ukrainians with the targeting aspect of the operation, and the Ukrainians would just fly the jets and release the missiles. But in Germany, in the Buchel Air Force Base, which is near Ramstein, they would actually communicate with the Ukrainians via a secure line and give them all the data that they need. So that would potentially cross a Russian red line, okay? And it's more evidence that NATO is directly involved in this conflict. And if they're not, they will be very soon, because on Monday this past week, Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, hosted a meeting with all the NATO leaders to discuss deploying troops into Ukraine. Okay. And France has announced that they're going to be deploying their special forces to Ukraine. And Canada is going to be deploying non combat troops to Ukraine. Okay. That's exactly how things always start. Okay. Look at the Vietnam War. The U.S. had advisors, and they also had the MACV SOG Special Operations Forces deployed deep behind enemy lines in Southeast Asia for years before the Vietnam War started. Okay, years. We had the MACV SOG and various advisors there. Okay, so it looks like it's just going to escalate with Ukraine. And we also have a lot of activity over the Korean Peninsula. Right now, we have a U.S. Air Force RC-135 rivet joint patrolling the border with North Korea. And we also have an RQ-4 Global Hawk patrolling the border with North Korea. Okay, so lots of activity And this coming week, Emmanuel Macron has asked the French parliament to meet to make a decision on deploying troops into Ukraine, okay, conventional troops. So it's going to be a big week. We also have Super Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, there's going to be a massive amount of primaries. And speaking of primaries, Nikki Haley is now the first woman in U.S. history to win a Republican presidential primary. She won the Washington, D.C. primary tonight. And in the coming days, the U.S. Air Force is going to be testing their new ARRW AGM 183A hypersonic glide vehicle in the Pacific. And it appears they're going to be testing it from a B-52 taking off from Guam and flying 4,000 kilometers before releasing the weapon. Okay, so here we have this NOTAM that was posted in the middle of the Pacific, okay, for this test. Okay, so the U.S. is going to be testing the ARRW AGM 183 hypersonic glide vehicle, and they're going to release it from a B-52 that's going to take off from Guam and fly 4,000 kilometers and then release it. Okay, so this is huge news, and I will keep you guys updated on this, what the results are from that. We're hearing of some unusual kabooms reported in the southern Red Sea off the coast of Yemen. We don't know yet what is the cause of that. And Hezbollah is claiming to have foiled several attempts tonight by elements of the Israeli Defense Force to enter southern Lebanon near the town of Ramach, with rockets and artillery being fired at the Israeli troops, followed by the detonation of a large IED, causing the IDF to flee back across the border. So this is huge news, guys. Israel is now actually trying to cross into Lebanon on the ground. Okay, and what that means is Israel is doing some reconnaissance. Okay, they're probing to see what they can do, what the response is like, because eventually they want to go in on the ground into Lebanon. And so what they're doing now is they're probing, they're doing reconnaissance. They want to see how Hezbollah responds and what their defenses are like. So this is huge. This is a sign that Israel is preparing to go in on the ground. And I think it's going to happen this coming spring or early summer after Ramadan and after they finish up in Rafah. The Vice President, Kamala Harris, says there must be an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and more aid delivered with no excuses. And Japan reports a suspected intrusion into its airspace from March the 1st to March the 3rd. Apparently, there was a threat of a violation of airspace in the East China Sea. So, Japan scrambled fighter jets in the southwestern part of the island chain. So, very, very interesting. We don't know yet if these were Chinese or Russian aircraft that may have intruded their airspace, but this is very concerning. And Iranian state media has reported that they have executed a quote unquote terrorist who tried to attack the Isfahan nuclear site with drones. And Iran claims that this person was tied to Israeli intelligence. And the Turkish foreign minister says it is time to start a dialogue for a ceasefire in Ukraine. And the Russian economy grew by 3.6% in 2023, outpacing both the US and Europe. And Turkey has declared its exclusive economic zone as extending into part of the Aegean Sea, which is a violation of international law because the part of the Aegean Sea that they've extended their exclusive economic zone is actually part of Greece's exclusive economic zone. So we could see a war between Turkey and Greece. Okay, Turkey is also claiming that the island of Crete is theirs. Okay, so that's another region we have to keep an eye on. And North Korea has suspended the supply of ammunition to the Russian Federation by sea, likely due to production issues in North Korea or logistical problems. And in the Galapagos Islands, there was a massive eruption of the La Cumbra volcano on the island of Fernandina. And in Las Vegas, there were 100-mile-per-hour winds today with 1,500 people reported to have lost their power. And here we have some footage of that volcano in the Galapagos Islands that is currently erupting. It's crazy. Look at this. Absolutely insane, guys. And I want to just show you guys something pertinent to the situation with Moldova and the possible Russian invasion coming soon of Moldova. Here we have a map that was provided by the president of Belarus right before Russia invaded Ukraine, and it shows the invasion routes. And what's interesting is if you look closely here, you can actually see the invasion route into Moldova from Odessa. It's a little bit hard to see, but you can see right there this little line coming from Odessa and going towards Moldova. Okay, so this could still be in play, guys. Okay, Russia could still come out of Crimea and try to take Odessa, or they don't even have to take Odessa. They can just go around it and then go all the way to Moldova, and then they can just surround Odessa and siege it, just like they did with Mariupol. Okay, but this is very, very concerning. And the two parts of Moldova that have recently asked for protection, Gagauzia and Transnistria, were actually involved in a war in the early 90s where they tried to basically create a separate country. Okay, and they are considered an autonomous republic right now, the Gagauzia Autonomous Republic and the Transnistria Republic, but there was an actual war between those factions, and Romania and Moldova, and Russia was involved in that. That was in 1991. You can look that up, guys. Okay, so we could see this region pop off soon. We have Turkey and Greece now. We have the situation with Germany planning to take out the Crimean Bridge, which I think is going to eventually happen. I think it's just a matter of timing. They're going to try to do it at a time when Ukraine has momentum, so Russia can't rebuild the bridge too soon. Okay, it's no sense in destroying the bridge and then Russia is just going to rebuild it within 6 months or a year. So they want to time it in such a way that Ukraine will have some momentum. Okay, so that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news, but looks like U.S. nuclear forces are still on high alert. And this E6 Mercury is now up in the air over Iowa, okay, which is unusual for this late on a Sunday. So I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. And make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon down below so you get notified when I post these updates. And if anything serious happens, I will go live 24/7 if I have to. But get prepared, guys. Things are really going to escalate this year because NATO is having difficulty with supplying Ukraine with the weapons they need. They've given Ukraine so many weapons already and they're running out. Meanwhile, Russia has been in wartime production, so Russia can just continue to supply artillery shells and men to the front lines. Okay, and Ukraine and NATO can't. Okay, so even though Ukraine and NATO have better equipment and more precise weapons, in this type of a battle, you just need bodies and ammunition in order to win, and that's what Russia's doing. They just purchased thousands of containers of artillery from North Korea, estimated amount of millions of artillery shells. Okay, potentially another mobilization is on the horizon in Russia. Okay, we also have the situation in the Baltics. Earlier today in my update, I shared with you guys all the GPS jamming that's been going on over the weekend in northern Poland and Estonia. Okay, the Baltic countries have decided to build a massive defense wall or a defense line similar to the Maginot Line, probably not as serious, but something similar to the Maginot Line through the entire Baltics. Potentially Poland and Finland are going to be involved in that as well. Finland has already shut down their entire border to Russia. I believe Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania have mostly shut down their borders to Russia, or they're considering completely shutting them down. I know Estonia shut their border down. Latvia may have one or two crossings still open. And Lithuania, I think they shut down 4 out of 6 of their border crossings with Belarus. Same thing with Poland. They only have like 2 border crossings left with Belarus. So tensions are very, very high. Okay. Please make sure you guys are getting prepared. So I'll be back tomorrow with more breaking news. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1 month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1 month freeze dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the My Patriot Supply 1 month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there.